Hello, Moment friends! Anding here for a special stream. I'm actually joined by the developer of Scoop, Brannick. So welcome, Brannick.
Hello. You know, Brannick's not my real name.
It's not?
It is
I'll
not.
have to look in the credits then to... No, no, glad to have you on, David.
I'm glad to be here.
Cool. So, we're getting ready to play Scoop, which is your latest game.
It's the one I'm working on right now, yeah. uh, late
Awesome.
latest game is I don't know, makes it seem like it's already been
It is. It's
released.
an
It's still in
ambiguous
development,
term.
so
But you actually gave me a sneak peek of the beta, so thanks for that, and excited to see what it all contains. And we're actually playing the premium version, I believe.
yes.
So that is exciting. Let's go ahead and go into normal. Oop, I forgot to do something. Alright.
See you're on the chest theme.
Yes, well, it undid my previous settings, but got that back in order. Alright, here we go. So yeah, I'm on the chess theme, which is exclusive to the premium version. And I suppose you should say all the different versions and pricing, but before we do that, why don't you give a brief overview of what this game actually is?
You know, that was actually how I had it in my notes as well, to talk about what is Scoop followed by the business model. So, uh, I guess we're on the same page.
I
Scoop
guess
is a
so.
falling block puzzle game. If you remember Tetris or Columns, things like that, it's sort of similar. It's an action puzzle game. Um, it's a little bit, I don't know. It's the core mechanic comes from a game called Zoop that was released on a bunch of different platforms, and I think Viacom New Media wanted it to be like the Tetris killer or whatnot, and they just kind of put it out on everything. But there was not a lot of consistency to it. It was actually different on different platforms, and I don't know. Like Tetris, I would say is a perfect game. Um, with Tetris, I can't think of any way to actually improve the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a different twist on a Tetris game and make another good game. But I don't think there's anything you could do to the original Tetris to actually make it better. Like it's already, kind of at the pinnacle for what it is. Um, Zoop was not like that. There was a lot of things about Zoop that I didn't like, but mainly I wanted to play a Zoop game without having to go back and play it, the old Zoop because I don't have it. I honestly I don't have a copy of it anymore. I don't have my Genesis anymore or any of the other platforms it was on. So um, I just on a whim decided to start coding my own sort of Zoop style game and
Nice.
decided kind of as I was developing it that I really didn't want to remake Zoop. The idea originally started out as just to make a clone, and then I kind of got into, put on my game designer hat and was like, well, I really want to focus on different design elements here and do different things with it. So it's a lot slower paced than Zoop. It's, but the core mechanic works almost exactly the same. The scoring is a little bit different to emphasize the importance of combos a little more. And we can talk about scoring again in a bit if you want. But it really kind of became its own thing over time.
Yeah, and I've actually been previewing it for a while throughout the whole alpha, and
Oh,
it's
since way before the alpha, you were one of the people who took a look at the early prototypes,
right,
and
and
helped me decide whether it was even worth pursuing. So
it's been very fun to see how it's evolved and all the different versions and even just like the cosmetic changes that have taken place over the course of it. It's been very fun to see game design from start to finish because I've never really been this involved in the evolution of a game from that early to what it's at right now. So that's
hopefully it's
been,
not disappointing.
no, it's awesome to see all the inner workings of things. So yeah, let's go on to pricing model then.
Well, in a world where you can play pretty much any Tetris clone for free, or Columns clone, or a bunch like these are the types of games that game developers make to learn. In my case, I made it because this is the type of game I want to play, um,
Right.
and I don't really think there's much of a market for selling it. At least if I were to sell it, it would drastically reduce the amount of people playing it. And for the high scores to mean anything, I really want people to be playing it. So the game is completely free and will always be completely free. There's not going to be any ads, not going to be any microtransactions or um, no online connections required or anything like that. There is uh, the kind of the premium version, which you're playing right now, um, as opposed to microtransaction, like a microtransaction model. Um, Basically, I'm going with what I call a donationware model, where although the gameplay itself is all completely free, if you like it, if you want to help support me as the developer, um, you can, with just a one-time purchase, you can purchase the premium version, which over time is going to unlock a whole bunch of different cosmetic themes. You're playing the chess theme right now, so you've got chess pieces coming at you, and you're on a chessboard styled um, background. So, and that's, I mean, the chess theme is just kind of the first of the premium themes. I'm not really trying to upsell people on premium and say, hey, you should get it because of this awesome one chess theme or anything like that. It really is just a donation model. If you want to show your support, you can. But over time, I will be adding a lot more themes. Um, Probably, I don't know. It's really hard to say because I haven't really gotten into theme development as a priority yet. But I would like to have upwards of 50 different themes and a theme customizer. Like, I mean, pie in the sky. I'd like to just keep putting all kinds of stuff in it, and that'll whatever does get added to it will all be included in just a one-time purchase, which is $4.99.
Nice. Yeah, I think that that is a great deal and a great idea that you're one of the few developers that when makes a free game actually makes all the gameplay be free. Which novel idea there. Um, so it's cool to see that you're doing that.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm not even really a fan of free games. Like, I just personally, I'm of the belief that if a game is worth playing, it's worth paying for.
Yeah.
But the realities of the world don't make that possible. There are certain expectations that people have, and for honestly, for this genre of game, people aren't like, if they do pay for it, they're going to be expecting something with a greater degree of polish than I could possibly provide. Like something from PopCap, who has a studio with budgets, and I'm just one guy with no budget, so I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's really cool that, we live in a world where there can be indie developers making all sorts of kind of games and, one-man teams
right.
making crazy things like Minecraft, for
Well, and
example.
and the main thing is I want people to actually play the game.
Yeah.
You know, yes, I would like to make money on it, and I hope that people, appreciate the game enough and, find themselves getting addicted to it and wanting to show their support. That's the hope. But whether that happens or not, I'd like people to play it because I enjoy playing it. I made it because it's a game that I was missing that mechanic from Zoop and wanted to play this style of game, and there was nothing on the market. So I started making that happen. And I would like, when I talk about a score I got on Scoop, like I would like other people to know what that means,
Yeah.
So I want people to play it.
Cool. All right. So, how long have you been making this game?
Not too long. The prototype only took maybe a week, and then I kind of worked on it a little bit here and there. Um, really got back into serious development about a week before the alpha started. So I don't know, what was that, a month or two ago?
Yeah, about that.
I have a very elastic sense of time, so I'm not sure exactly, but I mean it's not a super ambitious game. My goal is to hopefully get through the beta by the end of October. I don't know yet whether that's going to be possible, but that's what I'm shooting for right now.
Yeah, that's a good goal. What are some things that you'd like to see improved between the current version now and the final release?
Oh, there's lots of stuff planned. One of the things I'll be working on shortly is adding gamepad support and configurable keyboard controls, that sort of thing.
Nice.
And of course, a lot more themes for the premium version. The ability to create a custom theme from various pieces of other themes. Adding to the theme support, the next step is going to be to add the ability for a theme to change the player icon that you're moving around in the center there. Currently, that's just part of the game, but I want to improve the theme support so that themes can actually include their own, because then I can modify the color schemes and things like that and make sure that the player icon still matches what, the colors of what you're collecting, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that would be cool. All right. Sorry, having to play and ask questions at the same time.
Yeah. You could show off colorblind mode. You can change that in the configuration menu when you're not in a game, but I did leave in the toggle, so you can use F9 to toggle colorblind mode on and off.
Yeah, and so get on right now. And so, even color, if you're colorblind, that cannot inhibit you from playing this game. It's been thought about, so that's really cool that you were able to integrate that. Of course, the fact that 50% of your testing audience might have influenced that a bit as well, but
Yeah, well, I'm lucky that Aerother was colorblind and was immediately able to say, I don't know what color I am, so I can't play this. So I had to fix that. I guess I should talk about the upgrade path. If you have the free version and you want to buy the premium version and upgrade, do you have to do anything special or anything like that? And you really don't. You just install the premium version to the same place you had the free version installed, and your scores carry over. All your settings are the same. It just, and it adds some extra files and says you're on the premium version now.
yeah, it's really nice and painless.
Yeah. Yeah, the important thing was finding a method of handling the different versions and the actual theme support that would allow me to add the access to the themes in a different version and still allow for easy transference of the scores and all that data. And, settings data is not as important as the scores because you can always, go back and set that up, anyway. But if you play the game for a while and get a bunch of high scores and then decide, man, I really like this, I'm going to go buy the premium version, it would suck to lose all your scores. So I made sure that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, alright, I'm at 575, so I'm getting closer to the high normal score.
And the music is adaptive. My volume is down, so I can't tell whether you have the music on at the moment or not.
I did turn that off just so it would be easier for everyone to hear our conversation. But yes, there is music in the game, and it does adapt based on how intense the actual map becomes.
Yeah, I wish you were showing it. I mean, you have volume sliders as well, so you can turn it down. Um, but that's one of the things I want feedback on right now from the players participating in the alpha and the beta, is just how well the tempo of the music is reflective of the current danger level. Um,
And
in the bottom left corner of your screen, there's the debug information there, which you can hide with the F1 key. But while it's in development, I've got that there for testing purposes to make sure everything's working right. And you can see the danger level there. Whenever that switches is when the music changes. So kind of those transition points. I've got it kind of balanced for what feels right to me, but I'm looking for other opinions on that as well. I might, make some tweaks if I need to.
alright, I made it into the top 5, but I failed because I was too busy listening to your awesome answer instead of focusing on the game.
Well, I'm still watching you play. We're on a lag here, so.
Yeah, there's a 15-second delay. Or 30-second delay, rather. Alright. Let's try a fast game with music.
You want to try a different theme?
Yeah, we can show off a different theme as well. Alright. Remind me where to go for that.
In config.
Yeah, there it
Same,
is.
same with all the settings.
Yeah, I figured it out. Yeah, let's do that one. Alright, and if you
now
notice,
that
it
there
changes the whole
Oh.
background as well, which is cool on the home page.
And now that there are high score tables, which of course is super important for this game, I decided to go with, well, basically I had two possibilities. I could either have you type in your name at, whenever you get a score, like the old arcade style, but I thought that might get tedious. Plus, when I add gamepad controls, that's going to be kind of a pain just to code. So I opted for the more modern technique of having a user profile that you associate with your scores. So when you first start the game, you will need to create a profile, and then from there, whenever you play the game, the profile that you're in, and you can switch profiles. You can have up to 6. And whichever profile you're loaded into when you get a high score is just automatically associated with that profile.
Yeah, and of course I picked Andang. If I
course.
was smart, I would have picked Brannick, but man, Brannick got such a low score. Look at that.
I don't even use Brannick.
I kind of find it funny that the Lotro community of names is the scores to beat in Scoop.
Well, some of it.
Right, there are other names, but just
Yeah.
funny as a Lotro.
I mean,
community
the first few names on there are people who provided feedback and helped with the testing, and then there's the people I podcast with following that, and some other, friends and influences in the development industry. And the last name on there, Lorem, actually the last default high score with the 100 points. I was about to compile the build and didn't have a name for the score yet. And I was watching Airthreat stream, so I just asked in the chat, does anyone want to be on the high score?
Awesome.
So all of those are subject to change, of course, over time. Ideally, I would like to have, a lot of people give me a lot of helpful feedback and reward those people with, default high scores so that, they'll be immortalized in the game. But, over time, those names are going to change depending on, what happens as the game continues to be developed. The main idea is just to give you some default scores to shoot for and to show a sense of progression, so you're not just competing against 0 to start with and then always competing against yourself, so that you have different numbers to shoot for.
Yeah, and that's cool. The scores definitely add a lot to the competitive side of the game.
Yeah, and did you want me to talk about the scoring and how that works? Because that's one of
Yeah.
the unusual things about this game in particular, and I think that's what makes it so strategic. Um, the scoring system actually, well, the basic mechanic is that when you hit the spacebar, you'll fire yourself forward and scoop the pieces in front of you. And when you do that, you'll continue traveling forward until you hit a piece that is a different color than you. And you'll swap colors with that piece. Any pieces that are your color along the way, you collect. You scoop them up and you get points for them. The amount of points that you get is actually heavily based on the amount that you take out at once. It's multiplied by it, in fact. So you basically, the number of pieces that you collect at once, it yeah, so somebody's driving by.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the amount of pieces that you collect, if you square that number, that's the amount of points you get.
Cool.
So if you collect just one piece, then you're only going to get 1 point. If you collect 2, you get 4 points. If you collect all 7, the maximum that you can get before they encroach into the center, you'll get 49 points. I have not yet had that happen. I got really close last week, had 6 all the same color, and 1 was spawning behind it, and I was ready to get my first 7. But it was a different color that spawned behind it, so I just got another 6, but that's rare enough, so.
Yeah, I've gotten 6 a few times, so.
Yeah, I think I've only gotten 6 2 or 3 times. It's easier if you luck out and have that happen early on, but
Yeah.
once the spawn timer gets down really low and things start getting really hectic, it's suicide to let anything grow that long.
Pretty much, unless you have worked everything back down again, which is also very rare.
Right, well, even then, when things are spawning so quickly, like, just trying to maintain something and keep it growing that long is really incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
So a lot of the strategy to the game comes from patience, which I love when games can reward patience. And that's part of why I love stealth games so much, which you may gather that I like stealth games considering the fact that my company is Clandestine Games.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea is that you wait and let your color groups grow. And you don't collect them until they have a different color behind them. Like if you've got a row of all 3 of the same color, you don't collect it yet. You wait to see what spawns behind it.
And also, if there's like 3 spawned behind a certain color, then you obviously want to change the front color to match the back, and then you can get more and more growing that way too.
Right, exactly. And you can like snip a color out of the middle. So let's say you've got 2 reds, a blue, and 2 reds. That's only a combo of 2 either way. But when you take out those first reds, you can set it up so that there's a combo of 3, and then hold off and let that continue to grow.
Yeah, that's cool. So I think I've created a new mini game of trying to knock people off of the high score list. And so, next I'm gonna get all the.
Congratulations, that's a new high score.
So I'm gonna, get in order from the bottom up and just try to get those scores.
Okay. Well, if you actually fail to get on the high score table, instead of saying congratulations, it'll actually say something else, but it's random every time.
Alright, we're going to find out what that is by letting a fast game go here and see what happens.
Well, I've got the list of the 6 possible things it could say pulled up. I can hold off on that if you want to see what.
Yeah, let's hold off until we see what this first one is.
You're just gonna let it end with a low score, See what happens.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna get a little bit of score, but I'm very leisurely playing on fast.
Okay. What's the score to beat?
The score to beat is 285, I believe.
That shouldn't be too hard for you to beat.
No, it'll be harder for me not to beat, to resist
Right.
playing.
Right?
Ah, there's a triple.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard to resist.
Imagine how hard it is for me to test that during development. Where I have to just let the game run to test something at the end and not keep playing it.
It is tough to do that. So I suppose we should talk about the fact that this is not your first game to be working on.
No, kind of the fourth in serious development. It'll be the second to be released.
Yeah, and so where can people get your current game?
Well, the first game that I published was for Android. It's on Google Play. It's called Those Alien Bastards. And in case you're wondering, yes, that is a Duke Nukem 3D reference.
I had to get the 5 in a row. I just couldn't resist.
Those Alien Bastards is a vertically scrolling space shooter designed to be played on a phone with one hand.
And it actually works.
It does.
You can actually play it with one hand, and very impressive and a lot of fun.
How far have you gotten in it yet?
On the current live, I think I've gotten to the 6th or 7th stage.
What difficulty are you playing on?
Normal.
Okay. I would suggest playing on easy.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I designed the difficulty levels in those games, I kind of took inspiration from the original Guitar Hero, where it's really designed so that you start on easy and the songs get progressively harder, and by the time you can finish all the songs, you're ready for normal. And then by the time you finish those songs, you're ready for hard. And it's a smooth progression as long as you start at the beginning. So I kind of went with that same philosophy of difficulty curve for Those Alien Bastards.
Alright, I got game over, please try again.
That is one of the 6 things. It could also say, better luck next time. So close. You can do better than that. Keep trying. Or, oh no, that wasn't supposed to happen.
You should add Sweet Sassy Molassy, head for the Fallout shelter. That score was so bad that I don't know.
That's a lot of text.
CSTM reference.
Yeah, I got the reference. That's a lot of text.
It is.
I could just do Sweet Sassy Molassy, but I think a lot of players might not understand the reference.
Well,
and
who said people have to actually understand your game?
Well, they need to understand that it means they didn't get a high score. It needs to convey that much at least.
That's great. All right. So, anything else you want to talk about?
Let's see. I could talk about the public beta. Right now, you're playing sort of an internal beta as I'm working on building what will be the first beta to go out to the public. I tried an experiment with Scoop where the alpha and beta development stages are all completely open to the public. Of course, if you buy the premium version, you can just get it on your own and play it whenever and all that. If you want to play the free version, at least while it's in development, you need to sign up for my newsletter so you'll get email updates when there's a new build out and information about what I'm looking for and as far as feedback, things like that. Of course, that won't be a requirement once the game is released. But during development, I thought that was the best way to handle that. But the game currently, the version that's available right now is the final alpha. There have been a few things changed in the build you're playing right now. Most notably, the player icon and the title logo that I now have. It used to just have the word Scoop on the screen. So there's that. There's a few other things I'm working on adding to this version, and then I'm planning on having the first public beta build out sometime this weekend, unless, if something happens and I run into some sort of technical problem that ends up taking me longer. I mean, you never know with game development. Sometimes things that you think are going to be easy, you end up tearing your head out for a week, and sometimes things that you think are going to take forever, like getting the initial gameplay for this to work, a couple hours later, like, holy crap, it's already working. Part of the reason I ended up doing this game, and I'm sure you remember this, is when I, originally had the whim to try and see if I could put this together. Like, the prototype came together, the initial prototype came together just within a couple hours. And it was already playable and working. There was no scores or anything like that yet, but it was like the core mechanic was working, and that was what I was initially worried about. So from there, it's just been adding a little bit here and there, adding features. So
Yeah, awesome.
but yeah, hopefully this weekend will be either Saturday or Sunday is what I'm shooting for the next beta.
And chat room, feel free to ask any questions that you have for Brannick. And where can people go to sign up for beta?
Well, you have the link. You can go to clandestinegames.com. It's actually with a dash in it, clandestine-games.com. And then there's a scoop link at the top. It'll take you there. It's not like /scoop or anything. It's got one of those PHP, question mark number URLs.
All right, awesome.
Is there anybody in chat? I don't see any questions. I don't know how to tell who's in chat or whatnot, so.
Yeah, there are several people watching, but it seems like not too many people are actually logged into YouTube.
I see.
Which means there's probably a lot of people that are at work watching this and not actually logged in.
Well, I was going to suggest maybe we give away a premium version, but if nobody's in chat, then that's not going to be very fun.
Yeah, and if you want to win a premium version, ask a question for Brandon.
There we go.
So we'll let that go for a bit, and if nobody answers, then one's free.
Yeah, if no one answers, then I get the premium version for myself, right?
That's right.
That's how it works. That'll save me from having to buy it myself.
Yeah. So, what are some other premium theme ideas? Obviously, all subject to change. But
well, I have lots and lots of ideas, most of which I don't really want to talk about too much, just because I don't know how
feasible.
Well, I don't know how likely I am to get to them anytime soon. Some of my more fun ideas are going to require a lot of work, and that's going to be more like post-release stuff, like once the game is out, and when I have time to focus on developing something, I can just focus on working on a theme for a while. But I do have a couple smaller ideas that are probably going to be coming sooner. Of course, I mentioned earlier I'm hoping to release the game by the end of October. Part of the reason I want to do that is because I want to have a Halloween theme and use that as kind of a selling point for the premium version once, at release. That's kind of, the potential upsell there, just to say, hey, cool, check this out, and also to show off the concept of, like holiday themed themes, um, which is something I plan to do going forward. Once the game, like actual game development is done, it should be relatively easy for me to go in and just work on some graphics and things and put together different themes for different holidays throughout the year, and occasionally add new themes over time post-release. So I'm planning on doing things like that.
Cool.
Another theme that I'm thinking I'm working on. I don't know what it would look like visually. I still need to experiment with it. If it ends up looking like crap and I can't come up with a good way to make it look visually interesting, then I'll probably just scrap the idea. But similar to like the idea of having a chess theme with chess pieces, I was thinking of like a dice theme with just like a D6. But I need to make it look good with the color changing and whatnot. So I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, that would be cool.
Anything where I can have 6 different things, that are thematically related, can possibly work for a theme.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's the end. Thank you very much, Brannick, for joining me on the stream, and look forward to the release of Scoop. It's a lot of fun to play, and hope everybody checks it out.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me on. Thanks for streaming and helping spread the word about Scoop. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Alright, well, everyone head over to Clandestine Games and be sure to sign up for beta, because this game's awesome and you really need to get your hands on it to just get how addicting this game really is. It's like Tetris on steroids. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon for more gaming content.
Bye, ending.